1944. It's late. Here inside the lighthouse. It's dark. Papa is gone. I heard the soldiers say so. I saw them point guns. I looked away and ran. I'm scared. Papa said they would look for me, harm me. I hear a gunshot. I edge nearer to a small window by the stair of the lighthouse. I do not see anyone. Everything is so dark. Something rustles from behind me. Suddenly, a hand is over my nose and mouth, and another restraining my arms. I try to kick and scream, but I can't. I'm scared, and I do not know what this man, yes, it is a man, will do to me. With all my strength, I manage to bite his fingers, and he winces with pain. Panicking, I strike a kick, and I hear him tumble down the narrow steps. In a flash, I remember what my papa said. He said that the other Americans want to know where the crystal tunnel is. I know where it is, and I will die without saying its location to the soldiers. I know how important it is, how valuable, but who can I trust with this secret? I whimper. If only Papa were here, he would know who to tell. But he always said that whoever was smart enough to understand was permitted to know. Immediately, I know what to do.
2010, Stephen yawned usually as the overexcited tour guide rattled off fact after fact about the next place they were going to. Stephen's wonder again why he came here to Corregidor, where hundreds of his countrymen and foreigners died fighting for freedom, where his grandfather used to live before disappearing into the air. You can't really understand yourself if you don't even know where you're from, Stephen's mother had said.
Indicated that the lighthouse was totally destroyed during the battles for control of the island. However, this is incorrect. Although the lighthouse was severely destroyed, it did indeed survive. Apparently, it was decided that the tower was too heavily damaged to be safe and was eventually torn down. In 1950, a new lighthouse was built from the bricks from the original lighthouse. But back in 1944, there had been some odd events surrounding this location. One morning, the records say medics found the body of a 10-year-old Jamaican boy contorted on the ground. It appeared as if he committed suicide by jumping off the high windows. But what a boy was doing on the island and what reason he could have had for killing himself is still a mystery.
Stephen wasn't paying attention then, but he touched an open window in the lighthouse. The story and words, killing himself and mystery, rang in his ear. He went out of the lighthouse and approached the tour guide. Was the boy eventually identified? Unfortunately, no, but an old pocket which inscribed with the letters HS was found twined around the boy's wrist. The watch, I believe, is still on display inside the island's museum under the uncategorized section. We would be going to the museum later. Stephen nodded. The bell of their bus rang. The other tourists, a mix of Americans, Filipinos, and few Japanese, were starting to feel sleepy, but he felt as if he just woke up alert. After 5 more historical sites, the Tranvia, a coaster-type bus used in the island for quick tourist transportation, pulled over lazily by the entrance of the museum, Pacific War Memorial Museum. The wall on the entrance raised. The inside of the museum was cool, a stark contrast to the heat outside. Stephen found himself taking quick, purposeful steps towards uncategorized. It took him a while to locate the rusted round shape of the pocket watch in a corner of one of the glass case, but he saw the letters SH were still very clear visible. He felt an odd force pulling him toward the display case, as if the object in it were his. He looked down and he saw the intricate embossment of grapevines twisting upward. My great-grandfather has a watch exactly like that. I and my papa are having breakfast in our house in America. The Pearl Harbor was bombed, but today is as peaceful as any. Papa does not want to think about the war going on, so I don't not ask or talk about it. That morning, Papa says he was a present for me. After cleaning up the breakfast plates, he places something cool and flat in my hand. He shows me intertwined vines on the surface of it. Besides the letters SH, it is a pocket watch. I realize it's beautiful with the delicate design. He talks. This is your grandfather's watch. It is a family heirloom. It was handed down from father to son in the past few generations. I'm giving it to you now." "What is that plant?" I asked. "It is a grapevine, son. It is a symbol of our family, and it hides a secret." Papa smiles mischievously. The fact that it is on a watch reminds us that we need to wait to find out. Stephen couldn't believe that he was able to slip off unnoticed, much less than he had stolen the watch. He had stayed from the tourist group, already a fugitive of sorts, running quickly into the forest-like nature preserve of Corregidor. His heart was pounding triple time, and he stole a glance at the island map featured on his brochure for the day tour. It was only now that it dawned on him. His family emblem of twisted grapevines with a tiny purple crystal embedded at one point resembled the shape of the island. He felt compelled to go on this strange mission of following a microscopic gemstone. As if something intimate to his soul were on the line, he glanced at the map and then looked up again. He had been right. The crystal placed on the tiny map of the pocket watch corresponded to a real, specific place to the zoomed-in island map, the Crystal Grape Grotto. "I am nervous. We are now in a country called Philippines. The war is in full force here. Americans and Japanese slaughtering each other. My father had to bring me here, even though it is against the rules, for it is not any more safe anywhere else. What about my brother, Sean? Is he hiding too?" Papa said that Sean is with Mama, safe and has a normal life, but Mama does not want to believe with us anymore. This does not bother me, for it has always been my Papa and me, but I still wish we were far away from here, anywhere else, just not here. The guns and the prospects of killing people terrify me." Stephen arrived at the location short of breath and very disappointed. The mountain looked like it had collapsed over the cavern, sealing off the entrance to whatever mystery lay behind it. He was about to head back to the path, thinking of the stolen watch, when he tripped on a twig and banged his head hard against the piled rocks. Clang! He knocked his knuckles against each of the rocks, one ear against the boulders. Clack, clack, clang! Bingo. Stephen thought it was an odd-shaped rock, positioned as if were placed there on purpose. He tried to pushing it, but it won't budge. Stephen took another breath and lifted. The cavern behind the rocks was a pitch black. A small dot of light flickered and then disappeared. Papa calls it the Crystal Tunnel not because of the odd gemstones that can be retrieved from it, but because he says that peering into it will make you see everything crystal clear. Going inside, I see that he is right. Inside the cavern, it's really a cavern and not a tunnel. Our wounded Japanese soldiers being tended by Americans and Filipinos. The Japanese are supposed to be on the other side of this war, but it's true. The cave is a little village of refugee soldiers, refugees from both sides of the war who are tired of the bloodshed, who have no more families to return to. I see Japanese and Filipinos gathering around a controlled campfire with Americans, collecting the mauve-colored crystal that they discovered were edible once heated into a certain degree. There is a place here. It becomes clear to me. In this world, there are no different sides, just trust and camaraderie, even though there is no sunshine. "Hello?" Stephen called out. An ancient Asian-looking man in a tattered soldier's uniform materialized from the darkness, his gun pointed at Stephen's forehead. "What do you want?" the man said in brusque Japanese accent. Stephen instinctively raised both hands and then froze. The man looked 45, but his onyx eyes seemed 100 years old. "Where did you get that?" He grabbed the rusting pocket watch from Stephen's hands hastily and examined it in one hand while the other still held the gun on his forehead. The Japanese man looked at him again. "This is my friend Silenius Houghton's pocket watch. How did you end up here? Answer." "Houghton? That's my mother's middle name." It came to him in a flash. "I don't know, sir. All I know is that belongs to my family. Silenius Houghton was my great-grandfather. My father has a watch exactly like that." The man paled. You? You are the grandson of Shen Haotrom then? The arm holding the gun began to waver. That's right, Stephen said, feeling a twinkle brave now that the gun wasn't focused on him. Now would you mind telling me who you are? 1944, the night I shall die. One of the members of the Crystal Tunnel has slipped and now the soldiers are looking for the rest. Somehow suspicious lands on Papa. But Papa will never betray those people. Most of those have been Papa's friends since childhood, and those whom he just met have proven themselves worthy for his trust. But even Papa makes mistakes. The American soldiers know that he has a 10-year-old child in the premises. Papa lied so I can have a chance to hide out in the woods. So now Papa is dead. The pocket watch is a key to it all. My younger brother Sean has another, and it shall be passed on just as Papa said, from father to son, even the next years. With this fact comes the realization that the Crystal Tunnel will not be lost. Soldiers are still looking for me, but they will not get me because I'm in the lighthouse, and the window is open. The Japanese man was named Kyoto Ping. He was 89 years old, and he had thought that World War II was still going on to date. Stephen listened to his stories. Selenius Hautron as an American soldier based in Corregidor during World War II. Stephen did not know that he was an American. Selenius had 2 sons and a wife, who eventually separated from him. Taking the younger son, Sean, Selenius raised the other son on his own and eventually snuck into the army base in the Philippines, having no other living relatives. Kyoto had heard that Selenius was killed in protecting the community of the refugee soldiers in the Crystal Great Grotto. He shook his head sadly and he recalled that Selenius' death was almost worthless, since the other American soldiers had tracked down the grotto 5 days after he was killed. Kyoto was the only one who had survived, since by chance he was smuggling medical supplies from the infirmary. He hadn't heard that had happened to the older son of Selenius until now. He couldn't even remember the child's name. How did Sean end up marrying a Filipino woman? Stephen asked, outside of the cave now, sitting on a mossy log. The pieces still didn't fit quite well. Kyoto chuckled bitterly. I haven't any idea. Lopez couldn't remember. He was only about 9 when he met his father. Stephen yawned usually, as the overexcited tour guide proudly showed the majestic lighthouse, spreading his arms wide for effect as he rattled off fact after fact. Sweat was spawning on his forehead and the back of his neck. The wind was a natural lullaby. He rubbed his eyes and looked up at the lighthouse, squinting. I must have dozed off